Masturbation is more than just a physical release. It is considered an exchange and expenditure of powerful life force energy, affecting the unseen self. Many spiritual traditions teach that your sexual energy is your creative energy. It is the very essence of life, a sacred force given to you for creation and connection. When you masturbate, it is believed you release this potent life force. This energy dissipates without a sacred purpose, leading to a significant spiritual drain over a period of time. This constant release can weaken your spiritual essence. Your inner light or spiritual vibrancy may begin to dim, making you feel tired, uninspired, and disconnected from your higher self. Think of your spirit as a battery. This act, especially when it becomes a habit, is believed to constantly drain your spiritual battery, leaving you with very little energy. In the spiritual realm, every person has an energy field around them. This field is often called the aura. It acts as your primary spiritual shield against outside forces. The act is believed to create holes or tears in your aura. This makes your spiritual defense system weak, leaving you vulnerable to various forms of negative influence. With a weakened aura, you become more susceptible to negative thoughts. Feelings of depression, anxiety, and self-doubt can more easily penetrate your mind and your spiritual space. These energetic holes can also attract unseen entities. Spiritual teachings suggest that certain spirits are drawn to this specific type of released energy, seeing it as a source of food. These entities are often described as parasitic in nature. They attach to your weakened aura and feed on your life force, perpetuating a cycle of energetic depletion and craving. This is why the habit can feel so hard to break. It is believed that these attached entities will constantly whisper suggestions and urges to continue the act for them. The fantasy involved in the act is also spiritually significant. When you focus your mind on images or thoughts, you are creating energetic connections, known as spiritual ties. You may unknowingly form a soul tie with the spirit of lust. This is an unhealthy spiritual bond that ties your spirit to a lower vibrational pattern of behavior. If pornography is involved, it's believed you create soul ties with the people in the videos. You are energetically connecting your spirit to theirs in an unholy and unseen union. You also form soul ties with the demonic spirits that many believe are behind the adult entertainment industry. These are powerful entities that desire to keep people in bondage. These unhealthy soul ties can block future blessings. They can interfere with your ability to form a genuine, sacred bond with a real partner in the physical world later on. In the spiritual realm, this act is seen as a form of self-worship. It places personal, fleeting pleasure above a sacred connection with a partner or with the divine. Your body is considered a temple for your spirit. From this perspective, the act, which is rooted in lust, is seen as defiling this sacred spiritual dwelling place. This defilement lowers your overall spiritual vibration. Your frequency drops, making it much harder to connect with higher vibrational beings like angels or to hear divine guidance clearly. A lowered vibration makes you a match for lower vibrational experiences. You may find yourself attracting more negativity, frustration, and disappointing situations into your everyday life as a result. This act can severely impact your spiritual senses. Your ability to perceive things in the spirit, such as intuition or discernment, becomes clouded, making spiritual navigation much more difficult. It is believed to cause a form of spiritual blindness. You may lose the ability to see the truth of situations or to recognize spiritual dangers that are around you. It also contributes to spiritual deafness. The still, small voice of your conscience, your higher self, or God becomes very difficult to hear above the noise of spiritual static. Your prayer life can be negatively affected by this. You may feel a sense of shame or unworthiness that creates a barrier, making you feel as if your prayers aren't heard. The connection to the divine feels distant. A sense of separation from God or your spiritual source can grow, leading to feelings of loneliness, and deep spiritual isolation. The energy released during this act can open spiritual doorways or portals. These are gateways in the unseen realm that were not meant to be opened in this manner. Through these unauthorized portals, unwanted spiritual guests can enter your life. This gives negative spirits a legal right or entry point to influence your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This is how spiritual oppression can begin. It starts subtly, with intrusive thoughts or a heaviness you can't explain, and it is linked to these open spiritual doors. The act reinforces a covenant with the spirit of lust. Each time it is performed, that covenant is strengthened, giving that spirit more control and influence over your life. This covenant demands to be fed. This is why the urge can feel so overwhelmingly powerful at times. It is a spiritual entity demanding its payment from you. Your spiritual authority is diminished. Your ability to stand against negativity or to command your own mind is weakened because you have given ground to these other forces. The mind is a powerful creative tool. When it is filled with lustful fantasies, its ability to focus on pure, positive, and productive thoughts is severely compromised. Your spiritual focus becomes scattered. Instead of aiming your energy toward your goals and purpose, it is constantly being diverted toward fulfilling a lower, repetitive, and empty desire. This leads to a loss of spiritual and mental clarity. Your thoughts can feel foggy, and your ability to make wise, clear-headed decisions can be greatly reduced over time. The shame and guilt associated with the act create heavy spiritual burdens. These low-frequency emotions weigh down your spirit, making it hard to feel joy, peace, or freedom. In the spiritual realm, shame is a chain. It binds you to your past mistakes and prevents you from moving forward into the clean, new future that awaits you. The secrecy of the act also has spiritual consequences. Things that are done in darkness are believed to give power to dark forces as they thrive away from the light. Bringing the secret into the light is a powerful first step. Confessing it to a trusted person or to God is believed to break the power that it holds. Your creative potential is being wasted. The very same energy that could be used to write a book, start a business, or create art is being spilled for nothing. This is a spiritual theft of your destiny. Unseen forces are stealing your most precious creative fuel, leaving you with no energy to build the life you are meant to have. Many ancient spiritual practices taught the preservation of sexual energy. This practice, known as retention, was believed to lead to immense spiritual power, clarity, and vitality. By preserving this energy, it could be transmuted. This means it is moved up from the lower energy centers to the higher ones, fueling spiritual insight and divine connection. Masturbation does the opposite. It keeps your energy stuck in the lowest centers, grounding you in purely physical, animalistic instincts rather than elevating your spiritual consciousness toward heaven. Your willpower is a spiritual muscle. Every time you give in to the urge, that muscle becomes weaker. Resisting the urge, however, makes your spiritual muscle much stronger. A weakened willpower in this area will often spread to other areas. It becomes harder to maintain discipline with your diet, finances, or commitment to your personal goals. The spirits attached to this habit want you weak. A person with weak willpower is much easier to control and to manipulate in the spiritual and physical realms. The act creates a false sense of intimacy. It provides a counterfeit connection, which can make you less likely to seek out the real, challenging, and rewarding intimacy with another person. This can lead to a spirit of isolation taking root in your life. You may feel connected to a fantasy, but in reality, you are drawing further away from true community. In the spiritual realm, your seed carries your legacy and your blessing. Spilling it carelessly is seen as dishonoring your lineage and the gift of life that flows through you. It is a spiritual short circuit. It seeks the pleasure of a sacred union without the commitment, connection, and spiritual exchange that is supposed to accompany that beautiful act. The momentary pleasure is a trap. It is a bait used by unseen forces to get you to willingly hand over your life force, your purity, and your spiritual authority. The spiritual consequence is a cycle of emptiness. After the brief moment of physical release, a deeper spiritual emptiness often follows, as your spirit knows something valuable was lost. This act can block the flow of divine inspiration. Your mind becomes a cluttered channel, making it difficult for new, creative, and divine ideas to flow through to you. It is believed to place a spiritual veil over your eyes. The world appears dull and gray because your own inner light, which illuminates everything, has been significantly dimmed by this. Your spiritual journey requires energy. This habit constantly steals the fuel you need to progress on your path, keeping you stuck in the same spiritual place for years. The act is fundamentally rooted in self. It is a selfish act which spiritually pulls you away from a life of service, love, and connection to others around you. Love is selfless and giving. Lust, the driving force behind this act, is selfish and taking. You are training your spirit to take rather than to give to others. This spiritual training has real-world consequences. It can make it difficult to build healthy relationships, which require selflessness, sacrifice, and a commitment to another person's well-being. Your spiritual timeline can be delayed. The breakthroughs, blessings, and next steps that God or the universe has for you may be postponed because of this spiritual state. You are giving unseen forces a foothold. A foothold is a small point of entry, but from there, these forces will always try to build a stronghold in your life. A stronghold is a fortress of wrong thinking in your mind. The spirit of lust builds a fortress that tells you this is normal, that you can't stop it. Breaking free requires a spiritual battle. It is not just a matter of willpower, but of spiritual warfare, using tools like prayer, fasting, and renewing your mind with truth. The visual imprints from fantasy or pornography stain the soul. These images do not just disappear. They are recorded in your spirit and can trigger you for years to come. Cleansing your spirit from these images is a spiritual process. It requires asking for divine intervention to wash your mind and your imagination from all the past defilement. The energy you release creates a spiritual scent. This scent attracts more of the same spirits, which is why temptations can feel stronger after you have recently given in. Conversely, a pure life emits a spiritual fragrance that is pleasing to God. This holy scent attracts angels and positive divine beings to come and assist you. The act disconnects you from your own body. You begin to see your body as a tool for pleasure, rather than the sacred vessel and partner for your spirit. This spiritual disconnect can lead to physical issues. Energy blockages in the lower chakras, or energy centers, are believed to contribute to real physical health problems over time. Your sacral chakra, the center of creativity and emotion, becomes overstimulated and imbalanced. This can lead to emotional instability and a constant craving for more intense stimulation. Your heart chakra can become blocked. A life focused on lust makes it difficult to feel and express true, unconditional love from the heart space, which is pure. This is a perversion of a sacred gift. Sexual union is designed for bonding and creation. This act isolates the pleasure, perverting its original divine and holy intent. In the spiritual realm, intent is everything. The intent behind this act is typically selfish pleasure, which is what makes it a spiritually negative and draining experience. It steals your joy. The temporary high is always followed by a spiritual low, robbing you of the steady, peaceful joy that comes from a pure and aligned life. You are giving your power away. Each time you succumb to the urge, you are telling the spirit of lust that it is your master, and you are its slave. True freedom is found in discipline and self-control. This is a core teaching in many spiritual paths. Mastery over the self is mastery over your own spiritual destiny. The act promotes a spirit of impatience. It teaches your body and spirit to seek instant gratification rather than learning to wait for the right time and right person. This impatience can spill into your spiritual walk. You may get frustrated when prayers aren't answered instantly, as your spirit is trained for an immediate, quick fix. The spiritual realm operates on principles and timing. A spirit trained in instant gratification will struggle to understand faith, patience, and the slow growth of the spiritual harvest. The energy you release is meant to be cultivated. When you hold it, it builds within you, increasing your magnetism, your charisma, and your personal spiritual power. People can feel this on a subconscious level. A person who preserves their life force has a certain presence, an inner strength that is attractive and commands respect. A person who constantly wastes this energy feels weak. Their presence is diminished, and they may seem less confident and less vibrant to the people they meet. The spiritual world sees your true state. No matter how you appear on the outside, in the spirit, you are seen as either bright and powerful or dim and leaking. This habit is an anchor that holds your spirit down. It prevents you from soaring to the spiritual heights you are created to reach in this short human lifetime. To break free, you must first change your mind. You must stop seeing it as a harmless act and recognize it as a serious spiritual issue with severe consequences. This change in perspective is called repentance. It means turning away from the old way of thinking and turning toward a new, divine, and pure way of thinking. You must starve the spirits that are attached. When you resist the urge, you are cutting off their food supply. They will scream and rage, but eventually they will leave. This is the withdrawal period. It can be intense, but on the other side of it is a newfound freedom, clarity, and a deeper connection to your spiritual side. Fill the void with something positive. When you feel the urge, immediately redirect that energy into prayer, exercise, creative work, or service to someone who is in need. You are reclaiming your energy. You are telling the universe that your life force belongs to you and your Creator, and it will now be used for its intended purpose. This act hardens the spiritual heart. It makes you less sensitive to the things of the spirit and less compassionate toward the needs of other people around you. A soft heart is spiritually receptive. It is able to receive love, guidance, and correction from the divine. A hard heart, however, is closed off to these things. The goal of your spiritual journey is union with the divine. This habit promotes separation from the divine, making it a direct obstacle to your ultimate spiritual life purpose. Your focus determines your reality. A mind focused on lust will create a reality of bondage and emptiness. A mind focused on God creates a reality of freedom and purpose. You are exchanging a glorious destiny for a cheap thrill. In the spiritual realm, this is seen as a very foolish and tragic trade that many people unknowingly make. The energy can be rechanneled. Through practices like meditation and focused breathing, you can learn to consciously move that powerful energy up your spine to energize your brain. An energized brain leads to higher consciousness. It unlocks new levels of awareness, creativity, and a profound sense of connection with all of life and the universe. The choice is yours in every moment. You can choose to spill your life force and remain weak, or you can choose to preserve it and become spiritually powerful. The spiritual consequences are very real. Though they are unseen, they have a tangible impact on your mental health, your emotional state, and your overall quality of life. True satisfaction is not found in a physical release. It is found in a deep, abiding connection with your spiritual source and living in alignment with your divine purpose. By choosing purity, you are choosing life. You are choosing spiritual vibrancy, clarity, strength, and a deeper connection to the sacred, unseen realm that is all around you.